Thanks for coming in today. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and walk me through your background?
Yeah, as you can see, on my resume, I have communication studies, and my concentration was cultural and social influence. That means I enjoy communicating with people. I have a passion for it, and especially with the CSI communication, I enjoy communicating with people on more than just the basic "How's the weather today?" level. I enjoy connecting with people on more than just the surface level.
Great. Tell me why you're interested in the field of communication.
Just going back to that first question, it's just, I've always been a people person, interpersonal. I've always been able to enjoy a good conversation. Getting to know the person that I'm talking about, or not talking about, more talking with, of just where they come from, their background, what they're interested in, and just having a conversation that leads to something more than just a stranger on the street, right? It's being able to get to know who they are, what they're going through, and as well as honestly going into a work culture environment, being able to also work with the people, communicate and understand the people that you're working with. It's not just, hey, there's Bob number 1 sitting over there and there's Bob number 2. I don't know who they are, but I know they're doing their job.
Mm-hmm. How has your education prepared you for entering into a role in the communication field?
I can list off all the classes that I've taken, but I think we'll be here for a while. Instead, I'll say that it's just taught me a little bit of empathy, I think, or sympathy, just being able to relate on different levels that people are at.
Okay, great. And then we're talking to a lot of candidates. So tell us what are some of what makes you unique? Why should we hire you?
Not only will I be able to get the job done, I'm prepared for it, but also I'm able to bring a different perspective into the environment. Everybody has a different place that they come from, whether they were born somewhere, whether they had a different education, different family background. I can bring my experiences not only at school or at work, but also from personal experiences as well.
Great. What would you say are your greatest strengths?
Greatest strengths. I thought about this one and now I'm blanking on the... I like truth. I like answers. I search for answers, and a lot of the times I end up digging for that answer until I'm satisfied with what I find.
How does that show up for you? Can you give me an example?
How does that show up for me?
Yeah.
At my time tutoring, students come in with asking questions MLA style or APA style, or how to properly grammatically write a sentence. I'm always very glad to be able to sit down with them and say, APA style, this is my bread and butter. So I know exactly how I can help you in this situation. It's giving them the answers that they're needing for the moment, or for, not just for the moment, for the time to come whenever they're writing papers in the future. That's what we worked on in the Writing Center, is just making good writers, not editors.
Cool. So the flip side of that is what do you consider your greatest weakness or an area of growth?
Overcomplicating things. That's what I'm developing, working on, trying to strengthen, is making complex ideas, complex subjects more simple.
Mm-hmm.
And what that really manifests in more is, funny enough, is writing. Whenever I compose an email, I think about it a lot and I overcomplicate it, but what I'm working on, developing on, is being able to compose a short email that gets my point across.
Okay. good, yeah. I feel like I had that too in the beginning. I had to learn how
Yeah.
to condense,
A lot of people don't like the fluff.
right? Yeah, get to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about a time when your work was criticized and how you handled it.
A few semesters ago, I got an incomplete on one of my classes because though I thought I did an excellent job on the paper, my professor had a few things that she wanted me to correct. My answer to that was to sit down during winter break when we don't have any classes. And thankfully, my professor replied pretty quickly. I emailed her asking her for clarification on this part of her comments. And I went in, I corrected it to her specifications, sent it in, and was able to pass the class.
Okay, nice. Yeah. What was incomplete about it? Like, what was the... Why did she do that?
I didn't have enough sources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes professors are... I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Very specific.
I'm not gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Smart, yeah.
They're detail oriented.
Very detail oriented.
exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but it's really just to help you, I'm sure. How do you handle stress?
How do I handle stress? That's a
Mhm.
very interesting question. The way I like to handle stress is honestly to just sit down and listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
particularly Christian-based music. Being able to just enjoy the music and worship the Lord on my own time kind of calms me down, honestly. Yeah, it's just being able to take a moment and just not do anything except listen to music.
Okay. Can you talk to me about your skills with teamwork, working on a team?
Absolutely. My time at the Writing Center, as well as tutoring and the administrative work that I did at the front desk, I also was in charge of co-facilitating the University Writing Center Creative Writing Club. And there was 2 of us. And every week, every Friday, we would have a different topic that we would work with the students who came in and wanted to write. Sometimes it would be a topic that I facilitated, and other times it would be a topic that my co-creative writing club facilitator would facilitate. That was badly worded, I apologize. But
I knew
we
what you
would
meant.
we would work together on a weekly basis on, okay, who's doing what, who's doing it when, and how are you going to get it done. And it was pretty successful. The students were pretty satisfied with the work that we were doing, with what we were doing with them.
Nice. Great. What are your long-term goals?
Stability. Being able to, I'm looking for a place, for an environment, for a culture in which I can join in, put my efforts in, and have the opportunity to not only grow personally, but grow in the business as well, and just having something for the long-term future goals in terms of being able to, well, grow my roots in that business, that company.
Do you have a dream job?
Every time I think when I talk with people, that's essentially my dream job.
So it could be like any kind of company,
Right.
where you can work in a communication type of role?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. As long as the culture is...
Yeah, the work culture environment, I think it would be difficult for me to thrive in an environment where everybody is just doing their individualistic self.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy getting along, communicating with people, like I said earlier, on levels than just the surface, and it would be difficult for me to do that otherwise.
Yeah, that makes sense. What questions do you have for me?
Speaking of work culture, how would you
Nice
say
segue.
the work culture is at this company? How would you describe it?
I would say that we have, that we really care about each other. We're a small team, and it's a very supportive, kind environment. We wouldn't be in career services unless we cared about people and cared about students. There are days where, I mean, we have interaction and communication every day. There are days when, you know, we have a lot to do, and so we're in our office, you know, so I think that maybe that might be something for you to consider. But it is, you know, we do have daily communication with each other for sure.
You're in the office, you're communicating with each other. Right?
Yeah, like throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
We pop into each
Right,
other's offices,
exactly.
we have conversations, we
Yeah.
have twice a week meetings. So, yeah.
I once heard a question asked was, what kind of do you prefer, the small type of group work or the big type of, you know, business type? And like my answer to that question is definitely that small type of group work situation.
Mm-hmm.
But
that makes sense.
that's my only question that I really had, except from, yeah, that was essentially my only question.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much
Thank
for this time, for your
you.
time. Yeah, this
Yeah.
was great.